Hey everyone, Tom Miller here. I just wanted to share two great strategies that you can utilize as you're kicking off the start of your upcoming school year. And these strategies are purely relational based. And here's why. Because rules without relations equals resistance. It doesn't matter how strong your strategic plan is, how clear your vision is, or how inspiring your mission is without relationships, right? Without relationships, without without strong understanding and connectedness as a group, that's going to impact your culture. And culture eats vision for breakfast, right? It eats strategy for lunch. It eats goals for dinner, right? So try these two out. I've had great success with both. You know, the first principle we're going to talk about is connections begin on common ground. Okay, so there's this great strategy. It's called form, right? FORM, family, right? Family, or where are you from? You know, tell me about your family, or where are you from? O is occupation or organization. So, well, where do you work? What do you do? R is for recreation. What do you do for fun? And M is mission. What gets you fired up, right? What gets you out of bed every day? And so the activity I do is that I have the people on the team. You know, we're either in small tables, round tables, or circle up and answer these questions. Give them a couple of minutes to work through them, and then answer them out loud. And so what you're doing is you're telling the other people at the table to be present, to be listening, because you're probably going to find some commonality with other people in the group, right? And so once every person goes, then you start talking about what were all the common themes. What did you hear? What are some things we have in common? Because if I need to have a difficult conversation with that person, right? Well, now I know a little bit more about them, right? Maybe I'm a little bit less likely to judge them. I'm starting to build common ground. And it's a really, really powerful tool, because then they can do it with their students, right? Then they can do it with other people in the community. And you're teaching your people a great life skill that is going to strengthen the relationships and the culture of your building. The second one is based upon values. Okay, it's based upon values. And and so if vision is what you say, right, or if vision is where you're heading, right, that's end to end direction, then values are what you do. Values are the actions of the people. Because that's what makes up culture. Culture is the worst behavior that will be tolerated. So an organization without values, right, is just kind of wavering in the wind, right? I've heard John Maxwell talk about that a brown paper bag cannot stand on its own. It needs groceries inside of it, or it's going to blow away. Well, human beings aren't any different. It made me really think about when I was a gambling addict, and I spent 10 years just bad, poor character, behavior, and lying and stealing and doing all sorts of terrible things, and hurting the people around me and not really caring. It wasn't until when I got into a recovery program where we were given this little tiny yellow book, and we started to study words like honesty and humility and integrity. I never talked about these words before. I never really had an understanding of these words. But the more that I started to study them, and the more I started to work to become that person of integrity, to become that honest person, my life started to get better, and I started to get more and more. Now, not to say that people on your team are heavy into addiction or anything to that point, but they're struggling. They need values. They need that foundational structure, and your organization is based upon these values, because your values are how you behave. Your behavior, is going to drive the actions that you do on a daily basis. Your actions that you do on a daily basis are going to create the results that you end up getting. So it's a critical point to go back, because when you interact with others, right, what determines how you treat them, right? You treat them based upon how well you know them. So these two, the first activity with the form activity and the second one with the values I'm going to take you through in a second, right? You treat others based upon how well you know them, right? What they've done for you in the past, how you feel about them, and connecting on common ground is a critical point, for that. And then also values, right? Getting to hear people's values. So I'm going to drop the link, here in, so you can use the copy that we use. But I've got a list. It's like 50 core value words, and you can create your own. You could probably Google and create your own, or just look in John Maxwell's book Change Your World. There's a list there, and so I've got these on a sheet, and it's got 5 instructions. And the first instruction is take these 50 core value words and highlight 6 or 8 of them that really resonate with you, right? Who you're trying to become, or who you hope other people describe you as. And if your word isn't on there, you can add the word. I don't care, right? So it's and then again, we're back in our roundtable conversation or our circle up, and I'm sharing my values, and I'm talking about why I chose these values, right? And again, everybody's being present, everybody's being respectful during a conversation, and so you're starting to hear values, and you may have the same value on yours, right? So again, you're building common ground here. So they share out their values. So now the next part, and what I have our groups do is sit in either their grade level teams or their departments, right? Or if your staff is small enough, you can do whole staff. And so now we're each member of the team has shared their values. And now you're going to, as a group, right, what were the common values we had? Let's write those down. Maybe there's 2 or 3 at the table that we had. And I have them narrow their values down to 6 or 8 amongst that team, right? And it really it forces them to talk about values, to have conversations around values, to give examples and non-example of what that value may look like. So when they've got their 6 to 8, then they write them on a poster board, and they start to define them. They write their team definition of a value on honesty or integrity or hard work or quality, whatever it may be. And they define it. And I say if you can't define it, write an example, right? Or you can write examples, non-examples in the teacher or whatever. You can do anything you want with this, right? Because valuing others, not for what they can do for you, but simply because they're human beings, is the foundation of the golden rule. It's the key to success in many areas of life, because success depends upon the ability to work with people and understanding the values of everybody, right? Because everybody wants to be valued, everybody wants to be appreciated, everybody wants to be respected. So this is just a great opportunity for you to do so, right? So they've got their 6 to 8 on their poster board, and they write them, right? And then I have every single grade level or team put them up on a wall, in a hallway, and we do a gallery walk. We walk through as a whole staff, and we identify common values across, right? And maybe we'll take a different color marker. We'll say, hey, here's the common values across the whole school, and now you're starting to actually create the core values of your organization, right? The core values of your staff, right? So you can either do it by team, or you can do it as a whole staff. You can really force them and say, okay, now we've got these 5 groups that had 8 core values. Now you all need to bring those down to 8 as one, right? So then you'd establish those 6 to 8 core values as an organization. Then you're really getting to some heavy conversation about values and how people want to be treated and how they want to look and feel, because again, values are going to drive your culture, and culture is the worst behavior that's tolerated. So if I have agreed upon committed values, and if someone violates those values, I can say, hey, here's what we agreed to, but here's what you did, and help me understand how come you're doing it this way, right? So 2 easy activities, mainly for these 4 reasons. Every person wants to be valued. Every person wants to be appreciated. Every person wants to be respected. And every person wants to be understood, right? So taking your team through the form exercise, but also the values exercise will really, really help you. I'm going to put a resource here in for you to download a copy of our values page. And each of these are critical in our 10 indicators for high performing charter schools. This is this is all about indicator 5, is all about culture. And so these are 2 really good strategies to really help you rebuild a broken culture. And our book is available to you right now. You can go to our webpage, lbleaders.com, lbleaders.com. At the very, very top, you're going to see a green bar. Go ahead and click on the bar, and you can download. The book is free right now. It is a free electronic version for you to not only get a copy of the 10 indicators for high-performing charter schools, but also to take our free self-assessment of those 10 indicators and break it down and put your scores on your wheel of success and see how well your school is balanced based upon these 10. So download a free copy of our book. Go to lbleaders.com right now. Click on that, download, put your email address, and we'll send it right to you. You'll have it instantly. And go to indicator 5, read about the culture, and then try these exercises with your team coming up. Thanks, everybody. I'm Dr. Tom. I'm still Dr. Tom Miller, who just lost his voice. Raising your awareness. Bye-bye.